Chapter 20. The footsteps die out forever. Paris, a short time later. The guillotine. Along the Paris street, the timbrels rumble. 6 timbrels carry the day's wine to the guillotine. The inhabitants of the houses are so used to this scene that in many windows there are no people. Here and there someone points a finger for his visitors and seems to explain who sat here yesterday and who there the day before. Of the people in the timbrels, some observe these things without any emotion, others are seated, head down, in silent despair. Several close their eyes and think or try to get their thoughts together. Only one, and he a miserable creature, is so drunk by horror that he sings and tries to dance. Not one tries to appeal to the pity of the people. There is a guard of horsemen riding alongside the timbrels, and faces are often turned up to some of them, and they are asked some question or other. It would seem to be always the same question, for it's always followed by a press of people towards the third cart. The horsemen alongside the cart frequently point out one man in it with their swords. He stands at the back with his head bent down, talking to a young woman, hardly more than a girl, who sits on the side of the cart and holds his hand. He shows neither curiosity nor care for the scene about him. He only speaks to the girl. Here and there cries are raised against him. If they move him at all, it's only to a quiet smile as he shakes his hair a little more loosely round his face. He can't touch his face as his arms are tied. On some steps awaiting the timbrels stands the spy. He looks into the first cart. Not there. He looks into the second. Not there. He's already asking himself, has he sacrificed me? When his face clears as he looks into the third, which is Everman, says a man behind him. Him at the back there, with his hand in the girl's. Yes, the man cries, down Everman, to the guillotine, all aristocrats, down Everman. Hush, hush, the spy begs him quietly. And why not, citizen? He's going to pay the price. It will be paid in 5 minutes. Let him be at peace. But the man continues to cry down Evermond. The face of Evermond is for a moment turned towards him. Evermond then sees the spy, looks attentively at him, and goes his way. The clocks are on the stroke of 3, and the death carts arrive at the place where the guillotine stands. In front of it, as if in a public garden, are a number of women busily knitting. No one of the front chairs, the Vengeance, is standing looking out for her friend. Thérèse, she cries in her sharp voice. Who has seen her? Thérèse de Varges? She has never missed before, says a knitting woman. No, and she won't miss now, cries the Vengeance. Thérèse? Louder, the woman suggests. Aye, louder, Vengeance, much louder, and still she won't hear you. Louder still, Vengeance, swear a little, but it will not be enough to bring her. Bad fortune, cries the Vengeance, stamping her foot on the chair, and there are the timbrels. Evermond will be gone in a wink, and she's not here. I have her knitting in my hand, and her empty chair ready for her. It makes me cry with anger and disappointment. The timbrels begin to empty. The ministers of Saint Guillotine are in their special dress, and they are ready. Crash! A head is held up, and the knitting women, who scarcely lifted their eyes to look at it a moment ago, when it could think and speak, count 1. The second timbrel empties and moves on. The third comes up, crash, and the knitting women, never pausing in their knitting, continue to count. The supposed Evermond gets down, and the seamstress is lifted out next after him. He has held her hand even in getting out. He gently places her with her back to the terrible crushing machine, and she looks into his face and thanks him. But for you, dear stranger, I wouldn't be so calm, for I am naturally a poor little thing, faint of heart. I think you were sent to me by heaven, or you to me, says Sydney Carton. Keep your eyes on me, dear child, and mind no other object. I mind nothing while I hold your hand. I shall mind nothing when I let it go. If they are quick, they will be quick, fear not. The two stand in the fast thinning number of victims, but they speak as if they were alone. Eye to eye, voice to voice, hand to hand, heart to heart, these two children of the universal mother, in all ways so wide apart and different, have come together on the dark highway, to go home together, to rest in her arms. Brave and generous friend, will you let me ask you one last question? I am very ignorant and it troubles me just a little. Tell me what it is. I have a cousin, an only relative, and an orphan like myself, whom I love very dearly. She is 5 years younger than I, and she lives in a farmer's house in the south. Poverty separated us, and she knows nothing of my fate, for I can't write, and if I could, how should I tell her? It's better as it is. Yes, better as it is. What I have been thinking as we came along, and what I am still thinking now, as I look into your kind, strong face, is this: if the Republic really does good to the poor, and they come to be less hungry and in all ways to suffer less, she may live a long time, she may even live to be old. What then, my gentle sister? Do you think the uncomplaining eyes, in which there is so much patience and strength, fill with tears, and the lips part a little and tremble, that it will seem long to me while I wait for her in the better land, where I trust you and I will be at rest? It can't be, my child. There's no time there and no trouble there. You comfort me so much. I am so ignorant. And am I to kiss you now? Is the moment come? Yes, she kisses his lips, he kisses hers. They solemnly place each other. The hand doesn't tremble as he lets it go. Nothing worse than a sweet bright strength in her patient face. She goes next before him, is gone. The knitting women count 22. I'm the resurrection and the life, says the Lord. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live, and whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. The murmuring of many voices, the upturning of many faces, the pressing on of many footsteps of the crowd, so that it moves forward like a great wave, all flashes away. 23. They said of him about the city that night that it was the most peaceful man's face ever seen there. One of the most remarkable suffers by the same axe a woman had asked at the foot of the same spot not long before to be allowed to write down the thoughts that were inspiring her. If he had done the same, he would have told of the future, and would have said, I see Barça de Varge, the vengeance, Jacques, the juryman, the judge, long lines of the new oppressors who have risen on the destruction of the old, ending their days. Under this same guillotine, before its use is ended, I see a beautiful city and a brilliant people rising up from these depths, and in their struggle to be truly free, in their triumphs and defeats through long years to come. I see the evil of this time and of the years to come. I see the evil of this time and of the previous time, of which this is the natural birth, gradually being pardoned. I see the lives for which I lay down my life, peaceful, useful, prosperous, and happy, in that England which I shall see no more. I see her holding a child who bears my name. I see her father aged and bent, but otherwise restored and at peace. I see the good old man, so long their friend, in 10 years' time enriching them with all he has, and passing quietly to his to his reward. I see that I hold a special place in their hearts and in the hearts of their children and their children's children. I see her, an old woman, weeping for me on the anniversary of this day. I see her and her husband, their lives' course done, lying side by side in their last earthly bed, and I know that each wasn't more honored and held sacred in the other's soul than I was in the souls of both. I see that child who bore my name, a man winning his way on the path of life, which once was mine. I see him winning it so well that my name is made famous there. By the light of his, I see my errors faded away. I see him foremost of just judges and honored men, bringing a boy of my name with a forehead that I know and golden hair to this place, then fair to look upon with nothing left of this day's disfigurement, and I hear him tell the child my story with a tender and a trembling voice. It's a far, far better thing than that I do than I have ever done. It's a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known.